Berries. They're super healthy and trendy, enjoyed sweet or savoury. The vitamin-rich fruits can be found in supermarkets year-round. Often, though, they've travelled a long way to get there, to the dismay of local growers.
German berry production can't compete if it just comes down to price.
What's the real cost of our craving for berries?
The need of water is very high. We really have a water problem.
Can we still eat berries with a clear conscience? The average German eats around 5 kilograms of berries a year. Blueberries and raspberries are especially popular and are what you'll find in a supermarket's fresh produce section most often. They come primarily from Portugal, Romania, or Ukraine, even in the summer, during Germany's own berry growing season. The few local offerings are more expensive than the imported berries. Why is that? We went to berry grower Eric Appel in Darmstadt to search for answers. In summer, the main harvest season. His family business long specialised in growing asparagus and strawberries. To extend the season, Appel added a new berry to the lineup.
We've been growing raspberries for 3 years. First, you plant a small area to see if you can manage it, if there's a market, and if everything works. As you get confident in managing the crop, you expand. That's exactly how we did it.
Today, Appel is cultivating some 20,000 raspberry plants, spread across 2 hectares. The soft berries are delicate, so growing them is always tricky. Though if we're being precise, technically, the raspberry isn't a berry at all. Botanically speaking, a berry is a type of fruit that encases multiple seeds in its flesh. Examples include blueberries, elderberries, currants and gooseberries. By that definition, bananas, cucumbers, bell peppers, eggplants and tomatoes also fall within the berry family. Raspberries and blackberries, on the other hand, are what's known botanically as aggregate drupes. Yet they're still counted as berries. The same goes for strawberries. They are aggregate accessory fruits. Raspberries aren't easy to grow, as Eric Appel well knows. A constant supply of water and nutrients is crucial. Too much water hinders root growth. Too little leaves the berries small and dry.
The main challenge with raspberry or berry cultivation in general is irrigation. You need to deliver the exact amount of water the plant needs at the right time. You can't just follow a set schedule for 3 weeks. You need to reevaluate daily, every morning.
Eric Appel gets support from berry consultant Katrien Heterbrugge, who's been an advisor to the farm for over 15 years.
Hallo, guten Morgen.
Shall we head out back? I noticed something we should look at.
Alles klar.
Today's focus is pest control. Eric Appel discovered aphids in the morning. These tiny pests leave a sticky residue on leaves and berries.
Look here, here's another one.
Ja.
That looks like a raspberry aphid from the pale colouring. If you only find a few, they're not a big problem. But you have to monitor things if the numbers start to grow. In this field, we use helpful insects like parasitic wasps as natural predators against the aphids. Pest control is an ongoing effort.
Releasing predatory mites is another way to fight the parasites. Raspberries thrive in consistent warmth. Grass cover helps keep summer temperatures below 30 degrees Celsius. The plastic tunnels provide additional protection.
Tunnel cultivation has increased significantly in recent years, with a major advantage being protection against the weather. It means we're shielded from heavy rain or hailstorms, as well as the sun. Raspberries are highly susceptible to sunburn.
Despite all these protective measures, no harvest is guaranteed. Eric Appel won't know if the season was a success until autumn. These days, German growers harvest raspberries from late May to mid-October. The fruit has lost much of its seasonal identity, says Michael Koch, who's been tracking developments in the berry market for many years.
In Germany, the season is short, and availability of fresh produce is limited. Especially blueberries and raspberries have become year-round products. Supermarkets offer them all year round, and consumers demand them all year round.
As a result, the berries travel ever greater distances to get to German supermarkets. In winter, they arrive mainly from Peru. The South American country exports around 300,000 tons of blueberries a year. Michaela Kniely, a nutritionist from the Vienna Environmental Advisory Board, has long been studying the ecological impacts of berry cultivation.
Blueberries are being grown in the middle of stone deserts. They wouldn't naturally grow there and couldn't survive without being planted in plastic bags filled with soil and then regularly fertilized, watered, and if necessary, treated with pesticides.
The system achieves record yields. Harvesting takes place almost year-round. Peru is now the world's largest producer of blueberries.
This system uses up a tremendous amount of water, leading to rivers being diverted. That dries out other areas, causing shortages and potentially sparking conflicts over water.
The same could happen in Portugal, where annual blueberry exports total 85,000 tons, generating some 260 million euros in revenue. There too, intensive farming has had ecological consequences. In the Alentejo region, a reservoir provides water for both plantations and residents, but water levels are steadily dropping. In recent years, the region has also faced prolonged droughts. Elder Guerrero, mayor of Odemira, is worried. He says there would be sufficient water for the citizens, were it not for the enormous demands of agriculture.
We really have a water problem, not because we didn't have enough water in the Santa Clara's Dam, because we had it, but the need of water is very high. So that's why we have now a big problem, because we need a lot of water for agriculture.
We asked several regional growers how they're handling the issue. Only Logofruits gave us permission to film. Managing Director Lourenço de Botton estimates the company's annual water demand at 3 million litres per hectare.
All of our production is in pots, reducing the necessity of water drastically. Additionally, we have a lot of different methods to gather the water from the drainages, from the rain, from the condensation in the plastics. That saves almost 30% of our necessities. So, we're doing our part as Logofruits. It's a challenge as it is throughout the whole world. Water, more and more, it's becoming the new gold.
Logofruits cultivates blueberries on 75 hectares of land, focusing on hardy, high-yield varieties. Peak harvest season arrives in summer. We follow de Botton as he surveys the company's fields.
We finish Mazira and the other varieties next week. Yeah. But then we're going to start the pruning. We're going to start moving the plants. So the people that were harvesting will go to the networks. Okay. All right. Look at this. Maybe we'll have 2 kilo per plant, 1.5 kilos.
Blueberries contain high levels of provitamin A. In the body, this converts into vitamin A, which is essential for our sight. They also contain large amounts of folic acid and iron, substances crucial for the formation of blood cells and cell membranes. Their high vitamin E content helps prevent cell damage. The fruit's blue colour comes from anthocyanins, also believed to contribute to cell protection. The blueberries must be carefully picked by hand, an arduous task.
It's a lot of selection on the plant. You cannot just grab, and it's very high quality fruit. So it's very demanding in labor, and it's time consuming. So for example, us, during the peak of harvest, which is the month of May, our needs of worker are 600 workers per day.
The berries are harvested a few days before they fully ripen. This makes them more robust for transport. This particular variety has been bred specifically with that in mind. It's a different story for German berries, which don't have to travel long distances. With those, the priority is taste. At Erik Appel's farm, the berries also have to be picked from the plant by hand. During harvest season, that work is done by around 60 seasonal workers, most of them from Romania. They earn at least €12 per hour plus bonuses.
Our biggest cost is labor. Wages and planting costs are recurring annual expenses. It's not just the harvest. You also need to care for the plants, doing specific tasks. These plants need constant attention. That, of course, costs a lot.
Raspberries are good for you. They're rich in B vitamins, which strengthen the nervous system and play a vital role in metabolism. They also contain significant amounts of calcium and magnesium. Calcium is important for strong bones and teeth, while magnesium plays a key role in muscle function. A good harvest means everything to Erik Appel. His goal is 2 kilograms per plant. Achieving this requires almost a year of work. The young plants are placed in tunnels in February, where they're nurtured, watered and fertilized. The first significant returns come in June.
You invest a great deal up front, hoping for a harvest later. This maximizes our risk. If, for example, the late frost destroys the harvest, we've incurred all the cost but gained nothing. For retailers, the risk is pretty low. They'll just move on to the next producer. But producers can only handle that with their own resources. You can maybe manage it for a year. Even that's difficult. If it happens twice, you're finished.
Germans eat more than 1 kilogram of raspberries per year, and the amount is on the rise. That's good news for local producers, isn't it?
Looking back 10 or 15 years, German production accounted for a significantly larger share of market supply. For blueberries, it was even more than half. It's not that German production has shrunk. Rather, the market has grown dramatically. It's expanded massively, driven by imports.
In Germany, over 80% of the blueberry market is supplied by importers, a fact driven by demand for year-round availability and lower prices.
There are differences between survey responses and actual behavior. When consumers are asked if they're willing to pay more for local or German produce, the answer is overwhelmingly yes. But if you look at what ends up in their shopping carts, it's often the cheaper products. In this case, imports.
Back to Portugal. Why is imported produce so much cheaper than German produce? And what consequences does our growing appetite for berries have? In the past 10 years, blueberry production in Portugal has increased nearly 25-fold. As a result, demand for labour has risen significantly. Many workers are recruited from Asian countries, such as Nepal and Bangladesh.
I think socially it changed everything. We have almost 80 different languages, 80 different cultures. People are thinking different way. This is a very big challenge. It's something for the future. It's amazing that we have so many diversities of people.
In the past decade, over 11,000 workers have settled in the Odemira municipality. They make up about 1/3 of the population. They're often forced to live in overcrowded spaces, says environmental consultant Michaela Kniely.
They come from developing countries and live here under extremely poor conditions. They also work under poor conditions, excessively long hours, low pay, and hard labor.
We tried to speak with workers in the town of São Teotonio without success. Everyone we approached worked on berry farms in the region, but they politely declined to speak about their circumstances. The blueberry farm of Logofruits is about half an hour away. The company allowed us to film their operations and speak with their workers. Young Ashik Gurung arrived here from his homeland Nepal 4 months ago.
Many of my relatives and friends and younger brothers, they told me here are good advantages in Portugal, so that's why I came here. I have not so much job working skills and experience in Nepal, but when I came in Portugal, I have many opportunities and work here.
The hope for a better future. Portugal's minimum wage is among the lowest in the EU, currently around €4.50 per hour. Logofruits claims to pay slightly more. The owner understands how difficult it is to find and retain workers under such conditions.
The quality is good. The main challenge is the lack of labor. Not this year, but typically that's our main challenge, finding the right number of people.
To address this, the company offers various incentives. Bonuses for good performance and on-site accommodation and meals for €60. Seasonal workers are paid through temporary employment agencies, which have faced criticism in the past. The company says it's addressed that issue too.
We have an internal person who is in charge of making sure that these external companies that get the labor, that they pay what is due to the harvesters in time, the full amount, so that there is no difference in salaries.
That's the exception. In some places, workers aren't even paid minimum wage. Some are forced to hand over their passports. It's the price others pay for Germany's dependence on imported produce and desire for cheap berries. Logofruits packaging facility near Lisbon. In the course of one shift, up to 15 tons of blueberries are inspected, sorted, packed, and prepared for transport here. The company exports almost exclusively to Northern and Central Europe. These pallets are headed to a large supermarket chain in Germany. They're transported by refrigerated truck, kept at a constant 2 degrees Celsius. It takes about 3 days before they're on supermarket shelves. The situation in Darmstadt is completely different. Freshly harvested berries end up on shelves within just a few hours. For Katrin Heterbrugge, it's a compelling argument.
German berry production can't compete if it just comes down to price. Our production costs are way too high for that. But German berries are competitive when you consider freshness, taste and quality. Short transport distances play a big role too, of course. Those are factors that work in our favour.
Raspberry producer Eric Appel supplies major German supermarket chains via a co-op. Currently, he gets €1.70 for a 125-gram container. The price changes weekly and depends, among other factors, on market supply. There's a lot of competition, and price pressure is high. If Eric Appel earns less than €1 per container, he has to stop harvesting. He simply can't cover his costs. And berry farming faces even more challenges down the road.
Climate change is a major issue. How is the weather changing? Hail and heavy rain are always bad for crops like this, but we've also observed recently that excessive sunlight and high temperatures aren't good for product quality either. In some cases, certain locations may no longer be viable for production.
Soft berries are particularly sensitive to changes in external conditions. So how can we future-proof our berries? That's the very question driving Dresden scientist Dr. Klaus Olbricht. His research is focused on strawberries. Dr. Olbricht has been breeding strawberries for over 20 years, now also as part of an EU research project called Breeding Value. The goal is to develop a variety that's sustainable, resilient, and full of flavour.
Climate change and water scarcity are the backdrop to all of our considerations. Several Mediterranean countries where these issues play a big role are part of this project: Spain, Italy, parts of France. But now it's more and more relevant here in Central and Northern Europe too.
There are 23 species of wild strawberry in the world. Dr. Olbricht's company has gathered them all. The genetic diversity found in this greenhouse is unique in all of Europe, a diversity that's at the heart of the EU research project, especially since wild berries are particularly aromatic.
When we stand here in the greenhouse in May, it's an incredible experience. The aroma of wild strawberries mixes with coconut, banana, and peach fragrances.
No matter the strawberry variety, their vitamin C content is remarkable, higher than that of lemons and oranges. Strawberries are also rich in potassium and zinc. Potassium strengthens the heart, while the trace element zinc boosts our immune system and is even said to enhance libido. Commercially cultivated strawberry varieties are bred primarily for transportability, yield, and ease of harvesting. By crossbreeding them with wild species, the fruit gets a kind of genetic rejuvenation. Desirable traits, such as low water requirements, are specifically targeted.
We've identified drought tolerance and winter hardiness, which we find much more in wild species than in cultivated ones. Working with the Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich, we've also discovered a resistance to the spotted wing fruit fly, which we want to add to our breeding efforts.
Strawberries are the most popular berries in the country. Germans consume about 3.7 kilograms per person per year. The red fruit is especially healthy during the domestic outdoor growing season, from May to July, when it's particularly rich in vitamins and minerals. The same applies to wild-grown berries. Lara Glowatsky and Jasmin Rimmele want to make their berry consumption more sustainable. They're out picking fruit in the city, helped by the Mundraub app. It leads them to publicly accessible berry bushes across Germany.
It says here there's supposed to be a raspberry bush just ahead.
Thinking back, it brings up beautiful childhood memories, but honestly, I haven't done this in ages.
Eating berries like in the old days, a pleasure that's seasonal, local, and completely free.
We could check over there. That looks pretty promising.
The map shows blackberry bushes nearby. The dark berries are in season right now.
Think I can just eat them now?
You must be careful at ground level because of fox tapeworm.
You should only collect fruits you can identify with 100% certainty. And of course, respect property rights. This blackberry bush is growing at the edge of a public pathway.
We usually visit museums or study architecture, but we rarely look at what's on the sides of the road. So this is great from an urban perspective, because it raises awareness of where fruit bushes exist in the city.
From May to September, German cities and municipalities offer a plentiful buffet for berry fans. Usually. Someone's obviously gotten the jump here. The bush has been picked clean. Whoever picks the last berries is supposed to update the app. You can also log new locations when you discover them. Fruit trees can be marked too, helping to expand the network over time. the yield after half a day of wild berry picking is modest.
I'm curious if they taste good too.
Cheers.
Cheers. A bit sour, right?
Seasonal, local, and full of flavour. The classic mix for guilt-free pleasure. If you want to stay truly dedicated, enjoy berries in the summer and build up your anticipation over winter. That way, the wait will mean next year's harvest tastes even better.